Janet and Mazoua. Then the brilliance of the player team to play this one against France. And today's referee for this one is Samoa's Tui, and number 5 Felipe Berchesi will kick off for Uruguay.
You know, over the years watching Uruguay here, Keith, the one thing they do tackle well, and they usually handle pretty well. It's just they don't have a lot of speed.
Forward.
Well, unfortunately for Uruguay, they played South Africa in their first game, and South Africa were in very hot form, especially in the first half, and eventually beat them 35-0. As we look in at German Albanell for Uruguay. So at the very least, let's hope Uruguay gets on the board and is competitive in this outing. So Vincent Denial on the near side.
Touch
For France.
Engage.
In the white.
And you would figure France made the fashion statement. They wore blue and black first time out tonight, and then made a complete change. Not just a kit, not just a jersey, but everything.
They have indeed. They've got the tricolor on the bands of their jersey. Just had a glance there, so they're favourite somewhere. But Terry Burawa and Paul Albaladejo, these are very fine runs. Now we look at the first time we see number 12, the new player in the French team, Jean-Pascal Barak, and
Lost forward, scrum blue.
Barak made his debut in this series tonight.
Yes, and that's his first starting game. He came off the bench in the previous game, was on the bench in the previous game.
Closer.
And
Closer.
It seems that he's on the bench here for this one too. So they've made a late change in getting these players onto the field. Looking to the right, the little guy, Terry Burawa, probably the smallest guy at the tournament, less than 65 kgs in weight, but you'll see him really fly in the running game. With the ball now is Favaro, and he's chased down by Janet and Barak, and a lovely run by Berchesi. And let's have a look at the referee tour committee. He will have a little committee meeting with the men on the sideline and in the in-goal area.
Okay. Okay with the grounding. Thank you. Time on.
Try.
The try is awarded. So that's a lovely moment for Uruguay. They played 12 months ago, and there is the try scorer, Felipe Berchesi. And he showed real dash in getting to this one, Dave.
Well, I'm just looking at that Caesar's Palace logo on which he runs over, and he had a lucky bounce to get this pass away. And it took a little bit of luck at Caesar's right in front of that logo there for Uruguay to take the lead 5-0. Not a bad conversion attempt, but how about that? 5-0 Uruguay. Their first points of the tournament after being shut out by South Africa.
We've seen some wonderful goal kicking in the early stages of this tournament with 16 matches on day 1 through to this one, match 11. So a shock with Uruguay taking the early lead.
And they've got possession now. They've done a good job.
Favaro clears it nicely for Martinez. And here's the guy who scored the try, Berchesi! 2 tries for Berchesi, Felipe Berchesi, and 2 for Uruguay.
You know, it all comes down to percentages when you talk about gambling. We saw a lucky bounce, a fortunate bounce that set up the try to begin for Uruguay, and here's another one. A chip ahead, good idea, but you're going to need some real good fortune with that oval-shaped ball. How about this? One hop right to me.
10 seconds.
Take it in for the try. I'm going to follow Uruguay tonight. If they play like this, we're going to go to the tables.
Just 20 years of age, comes from the Carrasco club. He's a fly half in the 15s, and there is coach Luis Pedro Achard. Very pleased with the way the game sits at the moment, 12-0.
Under 3 minutes to go in this first half, Keith. We'll see if the French can mount an attack. Now, here's the little things that'll drive the coach crazy. Out on the full.
Well, he's blotted his copybook there, Berchesi, with the kickoff, which has gone to the full. So it restarts at the halfway spot for Terry Burawa. I'm waiting to see this guy get into the game because every time he runs onto the field, something happens and explodes for France. Terry Burawa. There goes the new man, Barak. Now, last week, He played in the Six Nations Championship for under-20s in back home for France. And here he is, different form of the game, only 7 each side and 7 minutes each way for these players. So he's obviously a versatile player, down from the Biarritz Olympique Club down in the south of France.
I'll tell you, Uruguay is earning their charmed life here in the first half. After making the unforced error of putting the ball into touch on the restart, getting the penalty kick, and now they're back down in business inside French territory.
He's a big try scorer in all the tournaments up to this one. This is his second outing of possibly 6 games over the next 3 days from here right through to Sunday afternoon.
Scrum. Moving forward.
Take a look at this open-ended bowl here, the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. They drew 10,000 for the off night, Friday night. Unusual start. They expect the place to be sold out the next 2 days. The sevens thing is catching on.
Touch. Pause. Engage. Scrum again. Not steady.
Well, that's a rarity too. The referees don't like to reset scrums. It occupies time. This is a running, explosive game, and they don't want to be delayed by resets and terminable resets.
Wait for scrum feet.
The referee committee from Samoa.
Touch.
So Buraha watched closely by Albanell.
Well, I'll tell you, you talk about the time coming off the clock, Keith. The Uruguayans are just seconds away from being shut out in this first half.
Oh, that's a very nice back movement for the French team right up to Julien Janet. And here they come again. And now it's with big Vincent Deniau. And now with Belanger, another relative newcomer in the team. This is, well, he's been around a bit, hasn't he? He was here last season. Now Deniau, one of the veterans. Very good value, this guy. And with him is Muzue, 2 big forwards driving forward. The French have, well, in the early years of the circuit, they used to turn over 6, 7, 8 players per tournament, and we never knew which team was going to turn up or who was going to turn up in them. But this season, in 5 tournaments, they've only used 15 players. So they're really settled. Many of the players are contracted. And here's a lovely bounce for Julien Janet. 22-meter line snapped up by Albanell for Uruguay, who lead by 12-0. And this might be one of their best ever halves in their short history of sevens rugby. But here comes France. Uruguay will try to keep them out till the halftime break. Deniau, the 2 big forwards, ranging out wide. But one thing, Dave Sitton has mentioned it, we know about the Uruguayans. They're tough in defence, and there's a good example of it. But next time, yellow card, says the referee. Now, a chance for the French from a set start to construct a late first half try.
Well, they just had the rodeo championships here in Las Vegas, and Uruguay just has to hold on to this bull for just a couple more seconds. Here they go.
El Baladejo. Oh, lovely offload. Was it a forward pass? Jean-Baptiste Belanger scored it. What do we call that, a lateral pass?
I think you might. There was a guy named Walter Camp who changed football forever with a forward pass 100 years ago.
Have a look at the pass. And this next one from El Baladejo. Does it go forward? Well, it's a good one. We'll have another look. To see it again, it's quite critical to this. We'll have a look at this one. Maybe not.
Probably dead on lateral. I think that's fair. Fair call
by referee committee, who was looking more or less down the line.